Pass interference. You make the call.
Pass interference in American football is a penalty that is called on a player who, quote, significantly hinders the ability of an opposing player to catch a thrown ball. The basic idea is that on passing plays, players on both teams should be focused on trying to catch the ball, not on impeding or restricting the bodies of their opponents who are also trying to catch the ball. This seems like a pretty cut and dry thing, but as any NFL fan will tell you, it's often difficult to determine why a pass interference call was made or not made, and in fact, sometimes it seems plainly inconsistent from game to game and even play to play. In this video, I'll be showing some clips of passing plays from NFL games, and I invite you to make the call as to whether or not there was pass interference on the play. I guess you could play this two ways. You could watch the clip and determine what you think the correct call is, or you could play it where you try to guess what calls the officials made in each situation. But before we get to that, I'd like to give a detailed explanation of pass interference. If you don't think you need it, feel free to just skip to the timestamp on your screen. This timestamp is also pinned in the comments. First, let's identify the types of situations that are usually not called for pass interference. A clean play where there is no pass interference might look like this, where players on both teams go after the ball and neither one makes any contact with the other. A clean enough play might also look like this, where there is some contact, but it's incidental to the fact that both players are going after the same ball, and there's no contact that reaches the point of one player, quote, significantly hindering the other. Another thing that's important to know is a ball has to be catchable for pass interference to be called. So even if it looks like one or more players might have committed pass interference on a play, if the official thinks the ball was thrown in a way where it could not have been caught, they usually won't throw the flag. And if two or more players on a play commit pass interference on each other, the officials will often just let the play stand instead of throwing two flags. So those are some of the basic situations where pass interference will not be called. A play that is called for pass interference often involves at least one player physically restricting or impeding upon the body of their opponent on a passing play. The rules are slightly different between what would be called pass interference on the defense and the offense, and because of that, it's important to quickly talk about it. Defensive pass interference can only be called on contact that happens after the ball is thrown. Defensive pass interference often takes the form of the defender restricting the movement of an offensive receiver, holding the arms of a receiver, playing through the back of the receiver, or blocking the body of the receiver or making other sorts of physical contact that prevents the receiver from being able to catch a ball that they might have otherwise been able to catch. When commentators are discussing whether some contact might have been defensive pass interference, they often discuss whether the defender was trying to play the ball or the body of the offensive receiver. You also might hear them discuss whether or not the contact was early contact being a sign that the defender was not playing the ball. Offensive pass interference can be called from the moment the ball is snapped. Offensive pass interference is most often the result of an offensive player pushing off on a defender, but offensive pass interference might be called for any of the types of physical restriction and holding that would constitute defensive pass interference. Offensive pass interference might also be called on a pick play, which is where an offensive player uses their body to block the path of a defender who is guarding another receiver. So even before a pass is thrown, offensive players are not allowed to physically restrict the movement of defenders who are guarding against passing plays. So this overview gives you the general idea and the general spirit of the pass interference penalty. The idea is that players on both teams are supposed to allow their opponents a fair chance to catch the ball without any physical restriction. Physical contact is allowed, as it's often impossible for two people trying to catch the same ball not to touch one another, but what's not allowed is pushing, grabbing, body blocking, etc. With that all out of the way, let's get started. I'll be showing you a number of instances from NFL games. For each clip, I'll show the main broadcast and I'll follow it up with a slow motion replay from the best available camera angle. After that, you'll have a moment to think. Then I'll tell you what the call was, and I'll try my best to explain the play as neutrally as possible. If the commentators discuss the call or the lack of call, I'll provide their commentary after my description. All right, let's play. There was no flag on this play. The ball was thrown a little bit in front of the receiver, and the defensive back dived in front of the receiver to try to intercept the ball, but there was no contact on this play, and this was not pass interference. This play was flagged for defensive pass interference. You can see that the defender in white is holding onto the pants or the body of the receiver as the pass is being thrown. This would probably have been holding if it had happened before the pass was thrown. Either way, it's a penalty.
Straight here. 3rd and 1, starting the second quarter. Tua dropped or broken up.
There was no flag on this play. You can see that the defender is turned in towards the pass and is clearly trying to play the ball. There is some contact with the offensive receiver, but that contact is incidental to the defender trying to catch the ball. Here's what the commentator said.
I just don't see it, Kevin. May got in there a little bit early, but not enough to cause the penalty. Good no call there.
Now looking to go up top. Back looking to go long. And it's Mike Williams.
This play was flagged for offensive pass interference. You can see that the players are keeping pace with one another, trying to catch the same ball, until the point where the offensive player pushes off against the defensive player in order to get into a better position to catch the ball.
Was there a push off? Did Williams give a little OPI here, offensive pass interference?
I think you are exactly right.
It would have been a 26-yard completion, but he pushes off here into the back of Newsome.
It's small, but right at the point where everyone's watching.
Sanford has all day. Letting it fly. He's got Robinson. He's got it.
Both players received pass interference penalties on this play. You can see that the receiver in blue did push off a bit on the defender in white, and the defender did hold on to the receiver's arm. In situations like this, where both players might be guilty of pass interference, the officials often do not throw any flag and allow the outcome of the play to stand. I will let the commentators take over.
As he's looking up for the ball, yeah, he gets his left arm out. It's a little hand fighting. Usually those go for no calls when they're both engaged.
I don't know about any flags. Mike,
I don't know either.
Brady looking that way and fires that way, and it's going to be caught, and it's Godwin.
There was no flag on this play. And this is a situation where I think most people would agree that the officials got it wrong. You see that the receiver pushes the defender away in order to create separation. Maybe the officials were looking at a little bit of the contact from the defender and decided not to call it because there was a little bit on both sides. But this appears to be a textbook case of offensive pass interference, and the commentators agreed.
Was there a push or not? Certainly got knocked to the ground.
Terry McCauley, what do you think?
It sure looks to me like he extends and pushes off to create separation to make the catch. I think it's offensive pass interference.
Davis the back. Blitz was on. Incomplete.
This play was flagged for defensive pass interference. You can see that even though the defender's hands are up, basically saying, look at me, I'm not interfering, there is this moment where the defender's eyes are off the ball, and that happens to be the moment where the contact is made with the receiver. The commentator disagreed with this call because this pass appears to be uncatchable by either player.
I just don't see it, Kevin. Wilson's running a comeback or a stop route, and the ball was thrown up the field.
2nd and 16. Stroud's got time. Deep shot down the field towards Hutchinson.
The defender was flagged for pass interference on this play, and this was pretty much a textbook case of defensive pass interference. You can see that as the ball comes down to a point where it can be caught, the defender lunges at the receiver and interferes with the receiver's arms.
This hurts. Going to give it to Calcaterra. Makes a good swim move. He's got another first down.
This play was offensive pass interference, and it's a little bit tough. So we're going to break this one down. This is an example of a pick play. You see the defender, number 6 here in white and yellow, is guarding against this receiver here. And this offensive receiver, number 6 in green, runs in front of the defending number 6, disrupting his path to the ball. This is a situation where there wasn't a lot of physical contact, but the offensive player's body was impeding upon the defender's ability to run after the ball. And this type of pick play is offensive pass interference. It's important to remember with offensive pass interference, the penalty can be called on any contact, whether it's before the ball is thrown or after the ball is thrown.
Vikings, Darnold rips it to the sideline, and Addison goes up to catch it.
There was no flag on this play. We see the defender and the receiver both going after the ball, and at no point is there any contact that would be considered significantly hindering the ability for one of them to catch the ball. So this was a clean play on both sides and a pretty good catch.
Mahomes, he's looking for the deep shot. One-on-one, nope, 2 defenders.
This play was offensive pass interference. You can see the offensive receiver in red holding the arms of the defender wearing white. This is a textbook case of pass interference, and the commentators agreed.
And you see right there, see the left hand where he's controlling Thornhill? That's a good job. I believe that was the back judge there, Grantis Bell, having that call, and I think he nailed it.
From the 46 on first down. Daniels going deep for McLaurin. It is
There was no flag on this play. This is a situation where I would actually love to hear what the commentators had to say, but unfortunately, I don't have access to the full sequence. I only have access to the 2 clips that I'm looping here, and this will be the last one that we do. So why don't you use the comment section to let everybody know what call you would have made in this situation? Do you think this was pass interference? Or do you think that this was a clean play by both the receiver and the defender? I'm very interested to see what people think in the comments. I do want to point out that the official in this situation is standing right there. The official sees the entire situation play out from a very close vantage point and chooses not to throw the flag in this situation. So that's just something to keep in mind as you journey into the comments. So I hope you enjoyed playing along with this video. If this type of video is fun for you, let me know, because I'd love to make more. If this video has left you with any questions, or if you think I've made an error, or that I've said something that requires some more context or clarification, feel free to address any of that in the comments. I just ask that you keep things civil and respectful. The comment sections under my videos have been overwhelmingly positive, and the vibes have been very good, and I ask that you keep it that way. Thanks.